As a business owner, there's a good chance that you're overlooking the fact that for every dollar your business generates, it has implications from a personal financial planning decision. And that little bit of awareness and intentionality can go a long way to transform how you organize your personal financial plan as a business owner. Welcome back. My name is Cannon Carr, and this is the third episode in our mini-series about building wealth through your business and how business owners often overlook some important aspects. Today, I want to focus on something I call the 3 R's, which is a very simple, powerful concept. And that concept is that for every dollar that your business generates, you only have 3 choices in what to do with that dollar. And those 3 choices are to reinvest, to reward, or repurpose. Let's touch on each of those 3. So reinvest means reinvesting that dollar into the business in terms of people, in terms of systems, in terms of resources, usually to drive growth. You're looking for a great return on that by betting on yourself and putting that dollar back in the business. The second one is reward, and that is paying yourself for the work you're doing. And it can be in the form of a salary, it can be in the form of a distribution or a draw, or it can be even a bonus payment. And the third one is repurposing. Repurpose means taking money and not putting it back in the business or paying yourself, but putting it into a diversified financial asset. And I'm not talking just necessarily a cash reserve, although that's important to have, but it's even more importantly into a strategic financial asset that helps build wealth gradually separate from the business. What I find is most owners either do these 3 allocations randomly or they do it blindly, right? Without a real sense of purpose. And like I said, every dollar your company generates, your business generates, touches a financial decision. And by doing it randomly or blindly, you're not really building a plan. And even if you're reinvesting and rewarding, I find owners usually neglect completely the repurposing aspect, which is that key to long-term flexibility until you sell your business or exit your business. Now, these 3 R's vary by stage of the business. And, in the earliest days of building the business, owners tend to reinvest very heavily. And that certainly makes sense. That's the right call. As the business matures, though, I find owners often keep reinvesting, and there's a time to pivot. And being able to understand when to pivot is very important. And the reward component, often, in that early stage, owners are underpaying themselves. And later, when they talk to a potential buyer and they find that they have to match a market rate for whoever's going to take their place, it ends up being a hit to valuation. So there's some habits that need to pivot as you build in that reward component. But following the stages and journey of your business will dictate how the 3 R's dynamically allocate. What's very helpful, though, here is that by recognizing these 3 buckets, you start to put a discipline in place that can fit into your longer-term financial plan. Because as you fill those buckets each year and your business progresses, it needs to be dynamic because your business is going to evolve. There's going to be good news, there's going to be bad news, there's going to be exciting times, there's going to be difficult times. And as you adjust your 3 R's, you're able to stay in a disciplined mindset navigating this disruptive period. One quick subtle point on just that 3rd R, the repurpose part. It's so important for an owner to take care of themselves first and build that independence ultimately from the business. And so that 3rd R, make sure they take care of themselves first before they start thinking about legacy. I often find owners want to do good and want to take care of others with money from the business before they take care of themselves. Legacy is important, but take care of yourself first. And that 3rd R, repurpose, helps take care of both those goals for yourself first, then ultimately for the legacy you want to create. So let's do this. Every quarter, I want you to ask, how am I filling the 3 buckets of the 3 R's? And I actually want you to draw each of the buckets, and I want you to put the number that you're putting literally in each bucket so that you can start to see what the pattern is evolving. And what's interesting is here, if you go back to our prior episode on setting your North Star, which is about, your definition of success and the quantitative number you're ultimately building for your freedom asset, you're going to see how the 3 R's will help you fill the buckets over time to ultimately fulfill your long-term North Star goal. And the neat thing about this dynamic process is that if you have to make an adjustment one year and reinvest more than you usually do, or if there's a particular year where the cash is particularly strong and you can reward yourself for the short term, or repurpose more than you had intended, that's good news. And it builds flexibility, and you can see how this dynamically is a real problem-solving tool. If you'd like a one-page tracker on how to do this, DM me the word 3Rs, which, by the way, is trademarked. I'm proud of that trademark for that 3Rs concept. And I will send you a guide on how to set up those buckets and start using them dynamically. And stay tuned for our next episode, which I call Mind the Gap, which is really focused on, as your business matures, you need to recognize your estate planning needs to mature too, and make sure that they're both aligned and staying current and in sync with each other.